The news, good evening. Individuals wishing for government to return their land acquired between 1977 and 1993 and which to date remained undeveloped have till December to make their applications. The Principal Secretary for Lands, Muriel Morgan, gave the information during a press conference this morning. Also at the press conference were the Attorney General Frank Ali and consultant Patrick Lablache. Mrs. Morgan specified that only Seychellois can apply for the return of their land, and each application will be considered on a case-by-case basis.
If a person's plot has been acquired between 1977 to 1993, either under the Land Acquisition Act 1977, or where they feel that should they have not sold the plot, the government would have compulsorily acquired the plot from them, then these categories of people would fall within the qualifiers. It's important to note that any heir can apply on behalf of the family. It doesn't have to be somebody who's been appointed as an executor. However, once we conclude the transaction, the heirs would have had to already appointed an executor for us to be able to conclude the transaction with.
During a passing out ceremony at the Seychelles Defense Academy, 17 young soldiers received their badges and certificates to officially join TASA, a special forces unit within the Seychelles People's Defense Forces, the SPDF. These soldiers who joined the SPDF early this year had to follow an intensive 2-month training that tested their ability to be part of TASA. The commanding officer of the Special Forces Unit within the SPDF, Lieutenant Colonel Michael Olanda, says that the new recruits are now ready to undertake, if there is a need, in challenging and tactical missions to defend the country.
By experience, I know that the past 8 weeks have not been easy for you all. They might look short, but I know that they have not felt short. It has probably felt a little more like 8 years rather than 8 weeks. As I've been through it myself, I am sure that you all plenty of moments when you wondered and said to yourself, what on earth have I gotten myself into? But you never gave up. You never gave in. Instead, you pushed yourself to your limits and then beyond. In doing so, you found that those limits were often only just limits of will or maybe your own imagination. You learn that tough is not something you become overnight. You learn that discipline is not something that you are. Those are things that you become through persistence and hard work. You didn't just learn to take care of yourself. You also learn to take care of each other. You learn that as individuals, there are limits to your strength. But when you are willing to work together, you could accomplish anything.
The British High Commission has partnered with the Parks and Gardens Authority to plant 2 kinds of trees at the Salazie Reserve of Mont Blanc. The British High Commissioner, Patrick Lange, says that the planting of trees is to respond to the offset the carbon emission of long-haul flights.
So this is the Green Footprint Seychelles planting site. And this allows tourists who are coming from overseas to take part in an activity that has been scientifically verified to offset the carbon of their long-haul flight to Seychelles. And this reflects the realisation that the long-haul travel market is in a longer-term decline as people become more environmentally conscious. So it's about responding to that changing market for Seychelles in a climate-friendly way.
Dr. Gillian May, the first nurse to receive a doctorate in nursing in Seychelles, met with President Wavel Ramkalawan at the State House this morning. Dr. May began her nursing career in 1982, whereby she has always had a passion for the profession of midwifery. She says her meeting with President Ramkalawan provided an opportunity to discuss several issues concerning the nursing profession as well as the well-being of nurses in the country. 2 students from the University of Seychelles and 5 others from the international school who have excelled in their respective fields of study also met with the president at State House this morning. United Seychelles Party leader Dr. Patrick Herminy says that the LDS government, led by President Wavel Ramkalawan, has done nothing for the population during its first year in office. Dr. Herminy made the statement at a press conference this morning. He added that the government of the day is simply deceiving the people of Seychelles concerning the amendment in the law for families close to politicians not to declare their assets. The United Seychelles Vice President Jacqueline Gigas says that it was the LDS party itself that had pushed for the implementation of this law on the declaration of assets. Dr. Herminy also said, meanwhile, that the U.S. party had done a lot for the people of Seychelles since LDS came into power, this through their critics, which have helped the people in several areas, such as reduced bus fares and fewer workers now being made redundant. A hurried change to the law could get the stalled Truth Commission back in action. It was suspended last month when it was discovered that the panel was operating with too few commissioners. 2 recently quit, reducing the number to 5, which is 1 short of the legal minimum. The commission has only 9 months left to finish, considering around 320 cases. It has 37 left to hear before the public sittings finish early next year. The cabinet now approved a legal amendment that would avoid a time-consuming recruitment campaign to fill the vacant positions.
We've heard over 1,000 witnesses. So if we appoint somebody now, well, if we try the process of appointing somebody now, we won't have anyone before January. Our option is to change the law to allow us to operate with 5 commissioners. We're looking at, with a little bit of luck and goodwill everywhere, that it should be before the Assembly by next Wednesday. With a bit less luck, it will be the week after.
And the Commission has also appealed for patience from people awaiting the outcome of their cases. More than 2 years into the process, none of the panel's determinations have been published. That's led to calls for more haste, as some complainants have already passed away.
The way the Act is written, we can only make determinations and recommendations at the end of our mandate, which we will then submit to the President and the National Assembly. We are working on determinations, but we cannot make the outcome of them public because our mandate doesn't allow us to do that. However, any complainant who wants to know the status of his case can get in touch with the investigator assigned to that case and find out what's happening.
And that's it for this news summary. Join me at 8 for the Creole Bulletin.